right, this week we are looking into the tools a writer must arm himself with if he wishes to conquer the process of writing that dreaded first draft and first and final edits, promotional work, book cover design, and everything else that has become an integrated part of the publishing industry over the course of a couple of years. We'll give you some tips on time management and how to work with social media. We'll talk about marketing, and we'll talk about the writer's kit that we already discussed on one of our previous industry insights. But before we dive into the meat of today's video, we would like you to take some time to hit that like and subscribe button down below. About 54% of all you people watching us right now aren't currently subscribed. And although your viewership is already greatly appreciated by us, if you really like to support Red Ink writers and make sure we keep the content coming, make sure to hit that subscribe button below and don't forget to hit that bell button. Alright, let's get started. Lydia, you and I are both very familiar with the whole process from first draft to publication day. And if I could summarize this process into a short list, it would probably look like something as write some more, and then edit, and then go back to writing. But no, I'm kidding. I mean, obviously writing is a very important part of the process between, getting started and getting that book published and celebrate the publication day. It is a continuous process of writing and editing and then revising until we reach a part where we start considering how are we going to promote this and how are we going to promote ourselves as writers as much as the actual book we're about to bring into the market. All these steps in between this process, between getting started and finishing up, which one is your favorite, and could you tell us a little bit why?
Release day. It's that final step in the process when you put your book out there and you give it to the world and say, here it is, enjoy, and then you wait. Today has been a huge waiting game to start getting interactions with readers and really being able to enjoy the release party that I have going on Facebook right now. So, but there's something to be said for every step in the process and being able to get to this point. I mean, in addition to, like you said, the writing of the first draft to, revisions, and then if you're self-publishing, the whole process of formatting the book and uploading it to whatever platform you're going to publish on, the marketing tools with the graphics and the promotional packages, your book cover. I would definitely say book cover is my second favorite part of the whole process. It's, having this idea, and you and I have talked about this before, as you're my cover designer. And you give me, we talk about the book, and then, you're like, oh, I'm going to work on it on this date. And like an hour later, this is the mock-up for it.
And it's basically already like a full cover. Like there are people actually paying money to get my mock-ups.
Yeah, it's so exciting for me. I love that because, I could be thinking something and I'll talk to you about it. And then all of a sudden you've just pulled all of these bits of information from my idea. And I think with South of Heaven, West of Hell's Bells, which released today, we were talking about how, she's gambling with her chance at redemption and, but she's the co-ruler of hell. And, and all of a sudden I have this amazing cover with, a gambling theme, which I had never even considered before. You've got the dichotomy between the Hellcats and the Hellhounds and, a playing card and poker chips. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I get so ramped for that. I cannot wait until we can discuss the three.
I'm actually starting to think that this is your favorite part.
Yeah, so I mean, being able to have a release party like today is just absolutely phenomenal. And I'm so blessed to have found this wonderful group that I kind of fit in. So they're very supportive, and I'm just it's being able to give back. So in addition to putting the book out there, being able to do these giveaways and these prizes and stuff like that as a way to say thank you for buying my book. you know, and they're just phenomenal. They're a phenomenal group of ladies that, you know, I've co-host on these release parties, and they're so much fun to interact with and funny. You know,
it's funny though to see how different this point of view can be, because you really enjoy the release days, and obviously as I release a book pretty much every month, for me it's not a drag yet, but I'm like, okay, so the next one is up, it's awesome, and I gotta move on because I have to write the next one because it's gonna release next month, and it's the same with the covers, and that one is pretty obvious because I'm a graphic designer. I design a lot of covers, so in a way it's just what I do, and then, you know, I have to make them for my own work, and I'm like, all right, okay, so what am I going to do? And you know, it's so much easier to get stuck in your own work. So it's funny to see how you enjoy those steps. While for me, the most enjoyment is actually the writing part, like the conceiving the story and everything. Yeah.
There's something to be said for, like I said, every part of the process. When I sit down to write, I mean, I get lost in the writing, and that's just writing hypnosis, and I'm, you know, the story and I'm gone. And so, you know, in addition to social media and networking, I mean, that is another, you have to build your author platform. It doesn't matter who you are anymore. It used to be more so you had to do that when you were nonfiction. Now, as fiction writers, we're finding, even with traditional publishing, they want you to have an established platform. So, you know, being on Twitter and on Facebook and on, you know, Instagram and TikTok and all of these places, and just promoting, and it's not just spamming the book.
That's crucial. Yeah,
you have to interact with people, and you have to get people to really be on board with you as a person, and saying, you know, this person, you know, I'm interested in this person, and I'm going to come back to them, and oh wait, they have a book coming out, you know. So social media and marketing is huge, and I think one of the toughest points of building this author's kit and this writer's toolbox is for me, it is the graphics. As much as I love seeing them come to fruition, you know, I've come to you many times just ready to tear my hair out and saying, why can't my name fit on this stupid banner and when I click on it and it moves everything to the right by like 500 yards, and it just, so that's when it's...
See, that's why the hammer was in the toolbox. You can just smash it at things.
I don't want to play with this anymore. I got so frustrated the other day until you came to my rescue, and I had to throw it away because it was just, I was done. It's just going to be a banner. But, and then you were like, no. This
is like 30 seconds of work, Lydia. Come on, we can do this. And you know, and I have that with a lot of grammar things. Like, I can struggle for hours with what tense to use, and is it past tense and is present tense, and then everything is going, and then I'm shifting again, and I'm calling it experimental, and I'm like, no, and then I need you to say, no, this is 30 seconds of work. You gotta put it in past tense or anything like that. So there is parts where we struggle, and there's parts where we really enjoy it. But I found myself thinking, what if the parts that we struggle with are actually the parts that grant us the enjoyment afterwards? Like, we need the downside to fully enjoy the upside, right?
And that's just, I think that's any career that you're going to be in. And if you're in a career as an author, you're going to have the ups and downs of your career, the parts of your job that you don't like to do. And I think, you know, in any writer's toolbox, you need to be able to prioritize and have effective time management. That's a huge thing to have. And that's, you know, you need to set out the time to write, and you need to set out the time to do the edits, and you need to carve out the hour-long, you know, hair-pulling time to work on a signature banner before you finally say, you know what, I'm going to do the adult thing and ask for help because this isn't working, and I just, you know, think I'm going to throw the whole computer out the window here. So, prioritize. Time management is huge. You know, you've got everyday life going on around you, so it's trying to cut into your agenda. So it's, you know, every writer should be able to develop that sort of a plan, that, you know, have those tools in their toolbox to say, you know what, this is my time to get this task done in this publishing process. And you know, and it doesn't have to be done in a day. That's you know, I think where I get frustrated with myself, I'm like, why can't I write 30,000 words anymore? Well, because I have a priority. You know, it used to be, you know, back in my old apartment, I didn't have anything to do but write all day. That was my job. That was, this is my career, yes, and I don't write for other people anymore. So it's rearranging that agenda to say, what, this is still a priority, but I do have other things that I have to do. So
yeah. And I also, sorry.
The agenda and stress management. That's another huge one that we can get into.
Yeah.
And as far as Writer's Toolbox. But go ahead.
Also, it's so much connected to the whole time management and the planning, like when are you going to sit down and write? I'm just thinking, because I think the first step we need to take is to consider if we are a person or if you are the kind of person who works well with a sort of time schedule. Like most people are very comfortable when they have a set time to sit down and write, and then they get stressed when something happens and you need to be flexible with that. There are also people who are 100% flexible, and they have sort of learned to use the time that pops up, like, oh, I have a 10-minute break, let's sit down and write for 10 minutes, even if it's like 6 words. So I think it's also very important to know yourself in that way, to know if you can work with deadlines that you set for yourself and if you are going to stick to them, because what good is an agenda if you're not going to use it?
Absolutely. I don't work well like that at all. If I say, I have this hour that I can be, sitting and writing, I don't write. If I try to plan it like that, I it's that procrastination. I find something else to do. So I work better under pressure. I work, and that's just the way that I am. I work better when I don't kind of restrict myself. I am a pantser, through and true. When the inspiration hits, I sit and I write. It doesn't matter what else is going on. I find a way to reschedule.
Even if the house is burning, you'll just sit there writing.
It may even be something as simple as, I'm writing the scene out on my phone to email later, to add to the document when I, if I do have an afternoon where I sit at the computer and just, but yeah, I'm sticky notes galore all over the place.
But if you're not the kind of person to work with a tight schedule, how does that work for you when you work with other industry professionals? Because obviously working with cover artists, which in this case for you is very flexible because, our agendas are pretty attuned to each other's. But if you would work with an external editor, or even later if you would get an offer from an agent, how would that work for you?
Because I can do that. That's not what I do in terms of myself. Self-publishing right now, but I can work with an agent. So like I know that when you and I have a date to sit and work on a cover, or work on even something for the podcast or something like that, it's not just my time and my agenda that I'm working with. So it's that responsibility. A writer needs to be responsible to the fact that they do work with other industry professionals. So, have that respect for your peers because we're coworkers. Working in traditional publishing, being able to work with an agent or an editor or something like that, it's, that's your peer, that's you're building a working relationship. So you need to respect that working relationship. So absolutely. I'm very, I have my process right now, but then I recognize when I am working with other people that I need to accommodate that.
Yeah. It's funny because again, we work in pretty different ways. Like I prefer having a set deadline, although I know that sometimes I don't meet my deadlines, but that rarely happens actually. So it's just interesting to look at how different people can be and the different ways to approach. Like, are you the planner or are you the plot? Basically, it goes back to pantsing and plotting again, but then also on the not just about the story, but also about you as a person. I think that's pretty interesting.
Thanks. It works for now.
It works as long as it works.
When it doesn't work, then I'll readjust. I'll change something.